Welcome back to the Life Recovery Devotional series here on Rest Road Church. Today we are reading day 13 of step 3, titled Never Lost. Day 13. Our reading is out of Deuteronomy 8, 1 through 18. Oh, we're going way back. Deuteronomy, one of the Pentateuch. I don't know. The first 5 books of the Bible called the Law. Okay, step 3. We made a decision to turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God. The road that leads to recovery is often uncharted and dangerous. We may have been born into a family that was lost in a maze of dysfunction, and we have had to look for the way out. There are times of need, times of fear, times when we wonder if there is a God out there who cares at all. Oh boy, I can relate to this one a lot just based on my own personal experience from my younger years. The Israelites who were born in the wilderness must have experienced similar feelings. Their parents had sinned and were left to wander in the wilderness for 40 years. The new generation had spent much of their lives going nowhere, and for no fault of their own. When the Israelites were about to enter the promised land, Moses showed how even there God's care was present. He said, "Do not forget that he led you through the great and terrifying wilderness with its poisonous snakes and scorpions, where it was so hot and dry. He gave you water from the rock. He fed you with manna in the wilderness to humble you and test you for your own good." Even when we seem lost, God is watching over us to protect our lives until we can get to a better place. He does take care of us in ways we may take for granted. In fact, there's a story from the Old Testament where the people of God, the people of Israel, even took that for granted and cursed God and cursed the manna that God gave them. And then God sent snakes to poison them, so they would have to humble themselves yet again. So don't think that you're too far off base for God to reel you back in through maybe some tough love. Peter tells us, "Give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you." Just being alive and in recovery shows that God cares for our lives. When lost in our personal deserts, we can be sure God is never far away. I remember one of the most difficult times of my life. I had turned 16 shortly beforehand, and I was sent to a rehabilitation center down in the lower part of the state for remedial therapy for issues that I had, because I wasn't progressing in the program I was in outpatient. And so they sent me to inpatient for a year and a half to get me back on track and get me back together. I hated every moment of it for the longest time until I finally said, "Okay, God, what are you going to use this for me?" I mean, it didn't completely help me. I still had my addictive tendencies. I still had my other things, but it helped me a little bit. It definitely kept me from being a terror for the last year of high school. But yeah, I was, it was rough, but it's okay. You know, even when lost in our own personal deserts, we can be sure that God is never far away. God was not far off from me when I was in my room at the rehab center. God was not far off from me when I was in the hospital with pneumonia. God was not far off from me when I ended up in the hospital again and I was recovering from weight loss surgery. God was right there watching over me because he cared for me. And he cares for you, and he's been watching over you even when you've had, I don't know, for example, a needle in your arm, a bottle in your hand, a joint in your mouth, whatever it might have been. God was right there going, "My son, my daughter, I still love you. I still want you to come back to me. Please listen to my voice. Listen to my words. Hear the truth and come back to me. You know, and he did that for me too. When I finally did listen, the angels in heaven were probably rejoicing because one lost sinner came home. And you can come home too. And others that you know can come home too. I pray for those that I love in my life that haven't met the Lord yet and made him the Lord of their life, because I know that while they still draw breath, there's still hope that they can change their minds. So I pray there are better days ahead when we've got God on our side. Take heart in that. I love you guys very much. I'll see you guys again next time. Take care of yourselves. And remember, God is close to the brokenhearted. And God is close, but and God is close by to you now as you go through this. Take care. God bless.